Welcome grade 2 students to a new science lecture. Let's see what will we be learning about in this lecture. In this lecture we will be learning about the water cycle and its stages, its different stages. Now we're going to watch a short video about the water cycle and then I'm going to explain in details and practice.
They told me you don't know what the water cycle is. Is that true? Don't worry, I'll explain it in a jiffy. I know it by heart. I've traveled the water cycle many times. The water cycle is the process during which water circulates around the planet through the seas, the land, and the sky. All this happens thanks to solar energy. There are 3 stages in the water cycle that I'll explain along my journey: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. You can't travel with me, but we'll be in touch through this camera, so you'll be able to see the whole process of the water cycle, alright? Hello, do you copy? Right now, I'm in the sea. This is where the journey begins. Do you see the sun in the sky? The sun is in charge of warming the water, changing it into vapor. Vapor goes up in the sky. This process is called evaporation. Evaporation also happens in rivers, dams, and lakes found on Earth, but to a lesser extent. Brr, it's so cold! Owing to lower temperatures, vapor cools once it goes up in the sky, and it turns into tiny droplets of water that form clouds. This process is called condensation. Droplets come together, they become bigger droplets, and fall on the ground because of gravity. This is how rainfall is produced. If it's even colder, snow or sleet are formed during the same process. We call this precipitation. This is the part I like best. Time to fall back on the ground. Whoa! Here we are again on the ground, and the water cycle starts over. What a day! The water cycle is exhausting. Let's go through what we recorded. The water cycle is the route the water follows over the land surface, changing through different states. The first stage, which we have looked at, is evaporation. This is when water changes into vapor, thanks to sun heat. Water vapor goes up to the sky to form clouds thanks to condensation. When water vapor cools, tiny droplets are formed and they come together for precipitation to happen. That's all about the water cycle. See?
You can try this experiment at home. Let me tell you. Let's place the butter, ice cream and ice cube in the sun, okay? And observe what happens after 20 minutes. You can try one of them, like you can try a plate of ice cream and put it in the sun. Observe what happens later. First, which state of matter is the ice cream, ice cube and butter? I mean before we put it in the sun. So the state of matter of the ice cream, ice cube and butter before we put it in the sun is solid. Okay, and what state did they change into? Because when we put the ice cube, the ice cream and the butter in the sun, they melt. So they change from solid to liquid. You can try it at home. Try, let's say, with an ice cube. You can also try this at home. I place the lemon juice and the milk in the freezer. I observe what happens 1 hour later. I tried this with a cup of water. This is the cup of water. It was liquid, right? This is the water. Then I put it in the freezer for 3 hours or even more. What happened? It turned into ice, solid. So when I put the water in the freezer, the water changed from liquid to solid. You can try it at home. So here, what happens to the milk and juice? They changed from liquid to solid. Don't forget, try it at home. You can try it with milk. It's fun. You can also try this at home with the help of your mother. I heat the water in the kettle on a stove and observe what happens when the water boils. So what happens to the water in the kettle? We all know that the water is liquid. So when it boils, what happens? It changed, when it boiled, it changed to gas. So it changed from liquid to gas. Here we can see three states changing. Three states of matter that they're changing from one state to another. Let's start with the freezing. From liquid to solid. Like for example, the water, cup of water, when it was liquid, after putting it in the freezer, it changed from liquid to solid. Melting, for example, the plate of ice cream, when we put it in the sun, it was solid and it changed to liquid. So melting, it's from solid to liquid. Evaporation, for example, is the kettle, the water in the kettle. When it boiled, it changed from liquid to gas. This is an experiment. You can also try it at home. Let's read and see. We have a cup. I place the ice cube in the transparent plastic cup. Okay, then I cover the cup tightly with the plastic wrap. I place the cup at a sunny window. I observe the changes every 30 minutes until the sun sets. After you tried it at home, you can observe what changes occurred in the ice cube, or what happened to the ice cube. Of course, the ice cube will melt, so the ice cube melted. What caused this change? What caused the ice to melt or the ice to change from solid to liquid? Of course, the heat from the sun. What can you observe on the inside of the plastic wrap? Where did it come from? From the inside of the plastic wrap, you will see some water drops. And where did it come from? Of course, the water drops, they came from the water that evaporated from the heat from the heat of the sun, okay? So water drops, and where did the water drops come from? They came from the water as it evaporated, okay? Then condensed. I will explain more. But now let's answer these questions together. Number one, ice is the solid state of water. Yes or no? Of course, yes. To change ice to liquid water, we take away heat. Do you think? To change ice to liquid water, we take away heat? No. To change liquid water to water vapor, we add heat. Of course, yes, we add heat because when we add heat to water, it boils and water vapor is formed. Number four, steam or water vapor is the liquid state of water? No. Water is the liquid state, and steam or water vapor is the gas state of water, so no. Number five, water vapor can be changed back to water. Yes, water vapor can be changed back to water. Before we start by completing the sentences using the words, I'm going to explain the water cycle briefly. this is the sun, okay? The sun heats the water. This is the water. The sun heats water, causing it to evaporate or change into gas. We all know that when water boils or it's hot, it changes into water vapor or gas. This stage, changing from water to water vapor, is called evaporation, okay? Then what happens? The water vapor rises high up in the sky, right? Then the cold air changes it back to water droplets, forming clouds. So clouds are water droplets, okay? This stage is called condensation. So the first stage was evaporation, where water changed to gas. After evaporation, condensation, where the water vapor changed with the help of the cold air, it changed to water droplets forming clouds. What happens now? When the cloud is too heavy, okay, water falls back to earth. It can fall back as rain, snow, or sleet. Okay, so when the cloud is too heavy, water falls back to earth as rain, snow, or sleet. This stage is called precipitation. So the first stage was evaporation, then condensation, finally precipitation, okay, where the water droplets fall down back to earth. So the movement of water from earth surface, from the earth surface into the air, then back to earth surface, is called the water cycle. Now let's use the words and complete the sentences. The blank heats water. What heats water? Of course, the sun. So the sun heats water, causing it to evaporate, right? Or change into a gas. Then water vapor rises high up in the sky, where the, what did I say? Where the cold air changes it back to water, forming clouds. When the cloud is too heavy, water falls back to earth as rain. If the air temperature is freezing, the water drops freeze and fall down as snow or sleet. The rain, snow, sleet, or hail that return to earth after condensation occurs is called precipitation. Precipitation is the last stage of the water cycle. The movement of water from Earth's surface into the air and back to Earth's surface is called the water cycle. I love you all. Stay safe.